Hey guys, yep, I'm back with a baby video. Couldn't help myself. And so here we have little Monroe. I figured this is going to be just not a super long video, but I thought I would share something. So you guys have heard me talk about the mirror test. People have asked when I've chatted about that in previous videos, what am I talking about? What is the mirror test? And so I'm going to talk about that real quick, along with other ways I check the realism in a new baby. So whenever I get a new doll, and this is something I do periodically, even with one I've had for a long time, aka Monroe, I always check to see when I first bring home a baby. One of the very first things that I do is I do what's called the mirror test, and I know a lot of you guys out there do the same thing. I got a lot of comments that, yep, I do the same thing. So what that is really is that you hold the baby, like you would a newborn baby anyways, and you'd walk into either your bathroom or whatever room in your house that you have a nice mirror that you can actually see and view how the baby looks while you're holding the baby. And why that even matters to me is because there is a realism thing to that. So I have occasionally been known to take my dolls out on an outing or for a walk around my neighborhood, that sort of thing, and I want the baby to be able to fool whoever may approach. And that's one of the first reasons I started doing this, mirror test, is that I wanted to see how the baby looked as I was holding the baby. The head of hair also stands out, and you can see how well rooted the baby's head of hair is while you're holding them. Like, I usually don't hold them with a blanket when I do this so I can see them. I can also see proportions of how a newborn should look and how I would think they should look in my arms and how they actually look in my arms when I actually look in the mirror. So all of those things are really important to me. They may not necessarily be important to all collectors out there. This is just me sharing the things that I find important that help me see what looks realistic when I get it versus a doll that maybe doesn't look so realistic. That's like the first big thing that I do. And it's also a matter of taking the doll into different rooms that are painted with different wall colors, because that also brings out undertones. It brings out all of the beautiful effects of the artist's painting. And especially with, and this is true for vinyl reborns as well as silicone dolls. And depending on how each artist builds the layers of depth to bring out the color of their skin tones is going to depend on, how they look in different lighting. So if you go into a room that has green walls, like this room has green walls, they're a mint green, so they're not super dark, but they do bring out a different kind of coloring in her skin tones, because Claire does paint with blue undertones in specific areas. I've also noticed on certain dolls that I've gotten by her that there are also green undertones that she adds. So Claire is masterful at bringing to life with depth. And depending on the artist, like I said, in different rooms with different wall colors, those things come through. And so I'll bring the doll into the room in here. Another one is in my kitchen and living room. I have almost like oh God, what do I describe it as? More of a clay, a light brownish, more light tannish clay colored walls in my kitchen. And in my living room, I have more of golden beige colors, very warm colors. And so those colors bring out different skin, things in her skin tone. And same with any doll I've had. I've noticed they'll bring out different things. If I put her in the nursery that has pink walls, she looks much more pink, and all the reds and pinks come out in her skin tone. So I find it really interesting because I want to see how she looks in all different lights. And then I take the baby outside. Like when I take her outside, it's when she is the most true to her coloring. And for me, that's like the true test. If you take your doll outside in natural daylight, a nice, decent day, you don't have to have direct sun, but not as dark and dreary either. A decent day out where you're getting enough natural light that you can really, really see all of the beautiful undertones and skin, of the depth that brings a baby to life. I like her skin tone best when we're outside. This is a reflection, so it's not accurate. It's a reflection off of the window in my office. That's not her true coloring. But it's not far from that. If I take the direct, like that, that's just a reflection. This is more closer to how she would look outside. But the wall color matters. The amount of light that's coming into a room matters. If you're using, artificial lamps, those matter. All of those, depending on the color of the bulb, all of those things change how a doll looks in each room. And so you may prefer seeing your doll in a certain room over others. And if you've followed me for any length of time, you've heard me kind of complain about the doll room. That's why I love having Monroe in here with me now more than ever, because I like how she looks. She's not as pink, even though I don't mind her looking pink, but this is more true to how her coloring is. It's not dead on, but it's close. So I can live with that. But also, like, one of the other things that I do, and also the mirror test brings out in them, are different angles that you're looking at a doll's face. So, doing like a side view profile. I'm over here, you can see my dogs. This one who refuses to stay off my couch. But one of the things I look at when I get a new doll is I want to see their profile. Not many dolls I've had in the past, I loved their profile. They might have looked great straight on, but something about their profile looked dolly-like to me. So one of the things that's important is looking at a doll's side profile to me. Like I said, these are my weird things that I do for realism, that I check for realism when I get a doll, because I have to love the doll at all angles. I shoot videos at all angles, I take pictures, but she has a very sweet profile. It's very newborn looking. I've compared her profile to a lot of living newborns, and it's so dead on. I don't even know how Claire did it. Here, we'll go from this side too. Let's see if I can. Oh my. See, this one's harder to get at for some reason. I don't know why. But it's because her head's turned this way. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. All different angles. Dolls look different when you shoot them from one side versus the other. I have a favorite side that I tend to show her at, and it's usually the other side. Not that this side is any problems. I just like how she looks from a different angle. I like to shoot from the top down, from the bottom up, looking at like these odd angles will tell you whether the doll is proportionate. There's another one of my dogs on the floor. This one is the one that always snores. Anyways, so we all have our favorite things, our favorite ways, but I'm showing you how I test the realism of any doll that comes into my nursery. Any doll that comes home to me, I look at everything. And even though she looks like short-legged, especially from the hip to her knee, it's the angle in which she's sculpted, because she has bent legs in the way that they fall. But if you take her clothes off and you actually measure out her proportions, she actually is dead on how she should be within the normal range of proportions for newborns. Yep, I've gone to that length, guys, because that's the OCD in me. And, I'm also very curious to know, if a doll that I get that looks proportional to me, is it truly proportional when you look at, general proportion, normals, like the normal range for a newborn baby, and that includes measuring their head circumference, their arm length, their leg length, and its upper arm length. So these are the long bones, measuring those, and then torso. There's a whole way that doctors on real living babies, when they're born, they look them over for normalcy within the normal range. And there's a range, from this size to this size, but she falls literally right dead center, which blows my mind. And I don't know whether Claire uses, or artists actually use those types of measurements and they actually know them, or if they just get lucky. I have no idea, because I've had other dolls by Claire that were completely not proportioned at all. And the things that always stood out to me with my previous Claire Taylor dolls is that their arms were too short for their bodies. and their heads were a little small on the normal range of what a real living newborn would be. So why do I notice these things? Once again, I've talked about this in my previous video. I am an OCD person. I cannot help it, and it's just things that I do. I don't know whether you call them rituals or habits or whatever, but for doll collecting purposes, there are certain things that I will do to see how, it's part of checking all the boxes for that perfect doll. I think that it's also why I'm so drawn to her, because to me, she is so close to a living newborn baby in so many ways, even though she's a doll. And like I said before as well, I know she's not everybody's cup of tea. Some people look at her and they don't find her cute. It doesn't matter to me. Everybody loves what they love. I love the dolls that I love for whatever reason, just like every other collector out there. We love our dolls for specific reasons. And it doesn't matter whether anybody else does love your doll or not. It only matters if you love your doll. And for me, these are the things that stand out. These are the things that are important to me. And I adore this baby. I think she is fantastic. She's fabulous. I love her. And she's wearing this little loved baby one-piece romper, onesie, whatever we would like to call it. It's like, I think it's called Honey is the color. And then I just paired it with a little headband that's gray because I didn't have a headband this color. I have lots of variations of like mustards and things like that, but not quite this color. But I love these warmer colors on her. And it is sunny and gorgeous here today, so I gotta utilize all of her summer outfits before we lose all that warm weather, because fall is fast approaching. So anyways, guys, second video of the day, so I hope you enjoyed seeing this and enjoyed seeing little Monroe. She's always happy to say hello to her aunties. But there she is, guys. Happy Thursday to everybody, and you will see us all very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.